Yeah.
We just don't want our children to get caught in the crossfire.
So need to school them. Do you think they're going to actually get rid of or shut down TikTok? Like, what's the plan? I mean, like I think they made some legislation that they had to either sell or to somebody. I guess that was from
Look,
America. I mean,
if they have to sell TikTok to somebody that live over here, Elon Musk gonna buy it.
that's what I figured. But I was wondering because a lot of information comes out through TikTok. I don't know where the negative part is because I don't see those things. But the stuff I see, these young people, mainly young people of all ethnicities, are putting out truth bombs. They dropping truth bombs right and left, and they destroying a lot of the narratives that we've been, indoctrinated to. And I don't know where they're getting it from, but I'm glad they're getting it. I'm like, well, they're gonna do what it's going because then other people compile these little snippets and put it together on their YouTube page, and we get to see all these things. And I think that with more people see these things, it'll help more people at least think about maybe I've been lied to, maybe I've been bamboozled, maybe I need to study deeper than what my the school said, the church said, my mom and them said. And do you think we're going to see full disclosure with regard to like supposedly extraterrestrials and the different interterrestrial ones that live inner Earth and
Whatever it is, whether they
interdimensional?
extraterrestrials, whether they intergalactic beings, whether they future humans coming back to the past, whether they from Shambhala in the center of the, we about to see something. I don't know where they came from. I don't really care. I'm more concerned about us on the ground than the people that's gonna be coming out the sky. How they got up there, I don't know. Where they coming from, I don't know. But I know they gonna show up because they've been showing up already.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Pentagon tell you they here letting off ships, you should probably consider that they might be finally coming out with a disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And then they use for credibility. A Harvard professor verified it on a peer review.
Oh wow.
So they saying somebody up there.
Or yeah, or out there interdimensionally,
Wherever they from, they here.
Mm.
Because the government don't just tell you they here if because they want to keep it covered up long as they can. Now they telling you they here.
Here somebody says we are here. That's a disclosure right here on the channel. They're here. Oh wow, wow, wow,
Mhm.
wow. Listen, so it's like 1,400 folk on the channel, and I want to make sure that we don't leave without addressing, the how our grand sheik is doing. You know,
Mhm.
I want to make sure that that you all know, first of all, that we appreciate everyone who has given to the GoFundMe, whether you're giving via GoFundMe or PayPal or Zelle or whatever Cash App. We appreciate the fact that there are those of you who care enough that are not going through the, well, why is he got this and why we wish he had those things and we didn't have to ask anybody to do anything. But the truth be told, he didn't have any medical insurance. He's not on the grid. He's off the grid. He hadn't had, any type of examinations and medical interactions for over 50 years, you know, and we're trying to help him preserve him, because and you and I talked about what people thought you were trying to retire him, but you're saying no. You said that a while ago. He's done a lot. He's done so much. He should be able to do what he wants to, which means if he didn't want to teach anymore, he doesn't have to because he's put a lot out there. But now we've come to a place where he has lost sight in his left eye, which is one of the issues what he has with his eyes, and in trying to make sure he doesn't lose sight in the right eye. He's had some oral. He has a surgery coming up on Friday, oral surgery. He has some medical. general overall people are reaching out, and he's getting care. We're able for what people have given to help us, be able to, I know we don't pay, but pay for those services of those doctors, trying to go to doctors that are more holistic and so forth. But and to be honest, some of the things that he needs done, it speaks to specialist care and surgery, and so forth. So I did put an update on the GoFundMe page, for anybody who wants to participate and to give. I think I want to make sure I put it up here. If you this right here, if you want the links to donate via either Cash App, Zelle, straight from the GoFundMe page, if you text the word donate to this number, then I will send you the links. I will say there was Brother Darnell, if you're listening, I think out in Cali, a brother sent a money order for 300 notes. I'm just hoping he's on here and he sees this, but he actually sent the receipt and kept the money order. So he tore it wrong. I hope he didn't throw it away. But Brother Darnell, you know who you are that sent the 300 notes. What do you call it? What did I say? Money order. But you sent us the wrong end. You sent us the receipt part and the receipt where he paid for it, but he kept the money order. So he needs to make sure he didn't throw that away, and maybe he wants to send us the actual money order. But we appreciate everything that anybody has done. Some people have been mailing donations either here or down to the headquarters in Maryland territory where he is, and Prime Minister is making sure he gets to his appointments and so forth. And I don't expect to have him back on the show, through the end of this year, because the surgeries and things he needs to rest. You know what I mean? He absolutely needs to rest, because if some people who have his number, some folks are calling him. I know they've taken his phone away from him. He gets it back every now and then, but because he'll have a long drawn conversation with somebody, and it sounds normal, but he needs the
Not
rest.
feeling well, yeah. Remember
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
that because I know people like Taj. Taj don't trust the system, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
then he's doing what's called the work from the heart. So he
Mhm.
suffered from the same thing as a lot of caregivers, where you're so
Mhm.
busy trying to get a message out and educate people that you forget to take care of yourself.
Right. Right.
A lot of
Right.
mothers, this is why you had sister groups. A lot of mothers get into the caregiver syndrome too, become stressed out and can't handle their kids no more, become abusive because they don't
Mhm.
have no outlet. They don't have no recovery time. Well, he
Right. Right.
need to recover. Let the man,
Absolutely.
let
He
the
needs to
man
rest.
recover. Yep.
Yeah.
And this is what I was talking about because I know how he is, so I can't tell him to go see one of these doctors when he don't trust them.
Right. Right. So yes, we're trying to get some. There's been some. I think some of his physicians that he's been seeing are like Muslim, Islamic, some folks that because Prime Minister is a retired nurse, but and an herbalist. So as having worked in that field, she kind of knows, and she grew up. She's one of the few people I know who's grown almost as me, and was born knowing she was a Moor. That's she grew up in a Moor. She's never been anybody else. She didn't change any name or anything when she was born. That's the the name she was given, and so she's always in the vein of what's holistic and what's versus what might she doesn't he can't take it. She's not letting him have anything that got gelatin capsules in it, whether regardless of what's inside it, if it's good in there, if it's in gelatin, she's make sure he's not. She's very holistic. So taking him to when we checked into the cost for the eyes and the surgery, we're looking at 30 to $120,000 when you have his kind of problem and no insurance, and they already determined that he is blind in the left eye. Whether or not they're gonna be able to restore it, I don't know. But all I know is right now it's about him resting and getting himself together. He's gonna see his 89th, 89th, and put 10 more years, 79th solar return. February 14th, and we want him to enjoy it, and be maybe have the surgeries past him. Maybe hopefully he'll be able to get the eye surgery and stuff taken care of before then, we're hoping. So, just wanted to give you all an update on that, and keep sending positive energies. We've had our naysayers. We've had folks creating videos and saying we're doing a hoax, but there's no way in the world I would come out here and try to coax people into giving their hard-earned fiat for a lie that can be easily verified. You know what I mean? There's no way. And so we
Then some people think if you walk in the righteous path that your health is supposed to stay pristine and pure. That's not the case.
yeah.
You got a lot of people that try to do what's right and end up with debilitating illnesses because of the society we live in is geared toward us becoming ill.
Right.
So
And he's like you said, works so hard. He hasn't paid attention to him. He wants to fix everybody else's stuff, and he was letting himself go, and not stay, and too proud. I think sometimes, especially men, y'all tend to be proud about your, and he first of all, I'm hoping that he gets delivered from Dollar Tree snacks, and I know he's not getting them down where he is, because that he loves Dollar Tree snacks. You know what I mean? And he doesn't eat a lot of things, but he may just eat fish, something like that, but not a lot of anything else nutritionist. He's nutritionist, so he's nutritious rather. So now he's getting the three nutritious meals. He's getting fed as a vegan, so he's getting a vegan diet, and he's not going Dollar Tree, and he's not putting Dollar Tree eye drops in his eyes, which I'm pretty sure have contributed to this situation. But just wanted to give you all an update, all right, on what's going on. And like I said, totally appreciate everybody's suggestions and recommendations, and your love and your fiat that you're sending. Your love. Thank you. I did put an update on the GoFundMe channel. So on the GoFundMe channel, on the GoFundMe page. So I did put an update there yesterday, and we'll be doing updates periodically. But like I said, keep him in your thoughts and prayers, because he is going to have some oral surgery on Friday, and we make sure hopefully he's not in a lot of in any pain. Hopefully, from that surgery. Somebody who's not been in that kind of care for so long, everything.
was never a slave, and now you don't have a reason to be at the bottom, and you still at the bottom. But then you realize you was at war, and during the time of war, you in a warlock. I mean, Big Mama Bank is closed. She don't support the conflict between nations of people. So now you have to create an artificial currency to float your system, a fiat dollar, in order to continuously steal from the people. You got to figure out a way to maintain control as the inflation eat that fiat dollar up. So your 5-cent candy bar is $1 and something now, right? Fractional reserve banking is the tool that causes the inflation. The inflation amount is decided by something called the Fed. Remember Alan Greenspan? He should come over here and he'll tell you what the adjusted interest rate is. Who is he talking to? He ain't talking to me, because I ain't got no deal with that motherfucker. Who he talking to? Right? He's talking to the Senate, the Congress, and the interim government. If y'all keep running this scam, this government scam, we're going to have to raise the interest up because the circulation of the money slowing down. And the money slowing down decreases the value of the dollar. It increases if it circulates. And this is the black labor, white wealth, circulate the dollar in your community telling you, Dr. Claude Anderson. You on mute, Si.
Yeah, I was saying that's Claude Anderson there. Well, you see what this brother La got up. 1898, Illuminati, Masonic History, Freemason, Rosicrucian, Occult, Knights Templar.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you must have said something that made him put that up, put that in there. You must have said something that hit him. You know,
Yeah.
but what I want to do right now, because see, you're just like to me in the sense of dealing with the occult science. You're like Dr. Leonard Jeffries when he's dealing with history, because all you got to do is set the camera up, put it in front of him, and you can go take a trip to Brooklyn. You can go around and come back, and he'll still be dropping that knowledge. That's how you are, brother. If we was face to face, I could just put the camera right here, go run my
Hey,
errands, come back, and you still dropping that knowledge, brother. It's
you
like
say Dr. You say
nonstop.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries?
Yes, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. That's how I do with Dr. Jeffries.
Hey,
I
look,
just put the camera in
look,
front of him and
stop,
just let him
stop.
go.
Pump the brakes, pump the brakes, pump the brakes.
Okay.
When you want to compliment a brother in his skill set, you couldn't pick the better person.
Okay. Okay.
That's more flattering. Uh, I can't even explain it. They don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. Some of these people might not know who he is, but it's like making me tear up that comparison is being made.
But it's real though, brother. I'm being real with it because I see how you flowing. And when I sit in front of Dr. J, when he come to my house or I go to his house, I just put the camera up and just let him flow, man. And that's the
Look,
way I see you, you
that
know?
that's like telling Kobe, you remind me of Mike when you play.
Right.
That
Yeah.
you don't know. Like some people might not know the magnitude of Dr. Jeffrey.
Hmm.
Man, you made my day. If I was close to you, I'd hug you right now.
All right, let me go here right quick. Because I made a flyer already, and I put everything that we're going to talk about. And so I was looking for the questions. We're going to get into necromancy right now. And what is your definition of necromancy?
Necromancy is the ability to communicate with the souls on the other side.
Have you ever communicated with the dead?
I talk to my mom all the time.
Oh, okay. Some
Yeah.
people look at that as spookism, but I agree with you. You can, you know.
So I know the mechanical operations of how and why it works. So it's not spooky to me.
All right, talk about that. What
Okay.
can you share? What can you share? Uh, or can you share any account of necromancy in history? Let's start there.
Yeah, when they say Jesus was talking to Abraham and Moses on the Mount of Olives.
Right, but I'm talking about real people though, not
Oh,
mythology.
real people. Well,
Yeah.
you got Madame Laveau was known for it.
Oh, okay.
It's go to New Orleans and ask them about talking to their ancestors, because we don't call it talking to the dead. We
Right.
communicate with ancestors.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I have done it for like damn near 20 years. I've done it for 20 years on 125th Street because before I even make a dollar, when I'm out there and I'm doing my work, before I make a dollar, I always pour libation and I talk to the ancestors and bring on them spirits to protect me from the wicked, evil demons and it worked. For 20 plus years, I've been protected out there on 125th Street,
So
and I was going
let me
I
tell you
was
the
going
mechanics of what's
crazy out
taking
there.
place.
Yes, police roll up on me. I was protected, brother. Trust me, they would just, back up on all that. This is real talk.
So
So it's
the
real.
mechanics of how it works.
Go ahead.
In your DNA, you have little micro radio stations.
Hmm.
Each radio station is a channel of an ancestor that's your direct lineage. They might have been dead thousands of years, but they still have a little radio station in your DNA to communicate with you from a non local location. You have to know how to tune the radio channel in for the purpose, and then the ancestor that's responsible on your DNA coding to serve that purpose. When you call them into action, they don't have nothing else to do when they with you but to serve that purpose. So when you give libations, you acknowledge them.
Mhm.
When you acknowledge them, remember, water is the physical representation of spirit. And so when you pour the water for libations, you are actually opening up a channel of spirit into the 3D world by which the energy can be tuned in to your ancestor that's responsible for you in the regard that you tuning in for. So once they get activated, they create a communication network with all other things around you, both things you see and things you don't. And say, this, I'm here, I'm serving this purpose, I'm protecting my child. Because to them, your ancestors, you still their child, right? But to your religious world, you God's child. But it's the same thing. Because without your ancestors, you wouldn't be here. Take one out of the equation and it's a different person sitting where you sitting.
Hmm.
And that don't matter how far you go back, and it don't matter what their ethnic background was. Take one out of the equation and it's not you no more. Because that particular channel is no longer on your DNA in order for them to send enough frequency in to put their imprint into your auric field, what we call your spirit body. So the spirit body that's built up might be close to you, but it ain't you because you got one missing, right? This is why the double helix was represented by the two serpents, because it's always between the genetic code, right? The genetic code is the frequencies of the ancestors that you have the ability to access in the blood right and the birthright to access. Once you put this into motion, right, then you don't have worries. I'm protected. And I used to think my mama was crazy when I was a teenager because I didn't want to hear that, because that nigga hit me upside the head with a rock. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But it could have been worse, right? He could have shot me instead of hit me with the rock. I
Right.
didn't want to look at it like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Have there been any notable legal cases involving necromancy?
Only in the
That you,
Salem witch trials.
okay, that's it.
Yeah. They probably got a couple more, but I can't think of none right off. They tried to
Okay.
say that Manson was into necromancy, but he wasn't. They tried everything to villainize that man. He was just trying to tell us they was trying to start a race war to keep the people divided so they can win in the end.
All right. We got a hell of a movie coming out. This movie is going to be bad, man. And I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Gladiator with Denzel Washington. I can't wait for that to drop. Gladiator 1 was awesome. Gladiator 2. And so let's talk about blacks in ancient Rome. Talk to us about the blacks in ancient Rome. And,
I
I
think
didn't
you need
really
to first
know.
tell me about the pale face in ancient Rome. Because
All right, go
Rome
ahead.
was
Let's deal with
started by
that.
Etruscan Moors. All of those whitewashed
I'm going to go
figures,
get some water. Keep talking, brother.
all of those whitewashed figures that they telling us was emperors of Rome wasn't what they look like. And if they look like that, you can't tell their skin complexion by the stone carvings. All of those Etruscan Moors that started Rome, them was niggas. And they was the ones who put together your Bible and your social control structures, your Plato's Republic and your Dante's Inferno. All that was under the Roman Empire in order to keep people under their control. It's the continue. America is the continuation of the Roman Empire, right? So, I'm looking to see if I got any questions in here while I go. Yeah. So, the early Romans were dark-skinned Romans. They was whitewashed in the history books to push a whitewashed historical agenda for a purpose of usurping and controlling a group of people by creating a caste system predicated upon skin tone as opposed to predicated upon like profession. Like in India, it's predicated upon your family's profession. They normally have a profession, and I tell you if they working class, priest class, or Aryan royal class. And so the caste system that they use in the conquest of the Americas, Africa, the Near East, Middle East, and the rest of Europe, they use the skin-based caste system, but no, only over here did they go above and beyond in full throttle application of it. And in South Africa, in a lot of those countries, they went full throttle with the skin-based caste system, using the military strength of Europe in order to enforce it. But that was what the Catholic Church called it, the white man's burden. It's popularized by a play by a guy named, I mean, a poem by a guy named Rudyard Kipling. And the white man's burden was the Christian's commission to go out under the doctrine of discovery and claim foreign lands of non-Christian peoples that they referred to as pagans. All pagan mean is that you are from Pangea. You one of the original children of the great Pan or globe, Africa, or Ifrak, which was the totality of the landmass. They be telling us we are from Africa. No, we not. We from over here, Africans from Africa, Indians from India. But they scrambled the egg up by giving us this misleading and confusing information so we don't know who we is, why we here, and what we doing. And as long as you don't know that, they're going to keep you trapped. The world is under the Roman rule. This is America is a continuation of the Roman Empire because the Catholic Church is the Roman Empire. It just went from under the pretense of being the Roman state to being the Roman Church. The church is now the what they call a theocracy of the Roman Empire that was initiated under Emperor Constantine. uh, uh, this is not comedy, brother. This is the real deal. Kenny
Yeah,
D.
what happened?
Somebody, Kenny D say, is this freestyle for real or some type of comedy?
Nah, see, some of them never heard of it. So when you never heard of information like this, you really think it's just crazy talk, you know? Because a lot
Yeah,
of them is caught up in the mundane stuff. They don't know about this stuff here.
yeah. Africa
So I
wasn't
left.
named Africa till after the Berlin Conference when they divided the land up, and it was named after a Arabic term, Ifraka, which means the divided up of the land. That was done under the Berlin Conference. The original Romans were called Etruscans, and they was they migrated or got exiled out of Africa and crossed the Iberian Peninsula and settled Rome. Greece was settled by Egyptian priests who were also melanated.
Yeah, you talking about Sisu Rose. Sisu
The
Rose is the
Cicero
man.
went into the
He carved up
Congo.
Africa. Yeah.
He went in. He went into the Rhodes Scholarship plan. That was a plan to to take over the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
He was under King Leopold. King Leopold is the one who was holding the Berlin Conference. If I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and double check that. I ain't sure on that one.
Right. But when I left off, I left talking about the blacks in Rome. So you was dealing with the whites in Rome first.
Yeah, because they whitewashed all of the original emperors. Some of them, if you read their history, they tell you they came from Ethiopia,
Right.
right? They're telling you they was an Ethiopian Roman. That's the emperor. That's Ethiopia. Greek is Aethiops. They mean burnt face. So they had a burnt face person or a dark faced person that sat as the emperor over Rome. But then when they paint the picture of them, they Europeanize the picture in order to enforce the caste system by skin color. They want you to think all of the great people in the past was pale face.
How come nobody never talk about? I never heard none of y'all. No, none of y'all talk about the the Colosseums that they had in Africa. I always hear about the ones in Rome, but I don't hear about the ones that was in Africa.
I don't really deal with a lot of what's going on in Africa because I know we got Ibrahim Traore and them over there doing their thing. So I don't worry about Africa right now. I worry about where I'm from. Right. So I only bring up the history over there when it's directly weighing in on what's taking place over here. Right. The African Colosseums have no bearing on the invasion of the Americas. So I probably wasn't gonna never bring that up. Right. But at the same time, if it was a historical figure from taken from over here to fight in that African Coliseum, and then I might have to address that issue. Then I might be bringing it up. But other than that, I'm focused on what we call the reclamation of our homeland. Right. So that's why you probably won't hear me bring up the African Coliseums. You on mute, sir.
What emperors of our people? What roles did black individuals play in ancient Rome society?
They were statesmen. They were law writers. They were the people that was teaching the people that they would later prop up as emperors how to be the emperor, how to play the part, how to look the part, how to act the part. They call it the civilizing of Europe. I know you've heard it 1,000 times. We civilized Europe. That's what they talking about. The creation of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire conquered Greece, and then they used what they could from Greece, and they were a scholarly, artistic people, and they gave it to a warmongering group, right? So you got to go back to the story of Romulus and Remus, suckled from a wolf, right? So one of them was a scholar, and his brother was a warrior who he named Rome after. So they telling you what's taking place in what we call legend and folklore.
All right. Family, y'all ready for some questions? Y'all ready to come in and remember questions, man. Not debates, questions, y'all. Let's get I'm gonna let y'all engage with the brother with some of these questions. All right. So without any so he's gonna be answering the questions and the questions is gonna be moving all over the place. So don't think it's him going all over the place because
I
I've
do
seen
that
that
sometimes
before.
too. I do that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes
all
you might
good.
ask me a question, it might require me to draw information from several
Yes.
different
Yes.
places, but yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get deep in here.